Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and this evening I'm joined by Chris McElway, and we're here to talk about Sligo Rovers 2, Celtic 1. Chris, sack the board. I mean, that's shocking first half performance.
Do you know, the first thing I want to say, though, is can we get Sligo Rovers over to play in the SPL? Because decent crowd out there, and optically, that's so much better than what we saw against Ross County, right away. And,
St Johnstone.
St Johnstone, sorry, St Johnstone, yeah, rather. But fair play to them and everybody that went out there tonight. And their team's given them a fairly decent show. Our team, initially, I thought, okay, slow and steady, trying to find their feet, not looking too bad, without being spectacular. I thought McCowan looked kind of quite assured in the middle of the park. Can't quite figure out where Lenny Agber's playing. At one point I thought he was playing right back. Other times he's been sort of right side of deep central midfield, and seems to just be running, chasing shadows at the moment. Scott Bain, my goodness. I mean, my goodness. You will never see two better examples of bread and butter saves than that. It was a hard watch, watching the first one in particular, where I don't know what he's trying to do. Is he trying to tip it over the bar? Is he trying to catch it? Is he just got it badly wrong? And the second one, I mean, I've honestly seen statues fall over quicker than Scott Bain. It was just diabolical. You've got Yang on one side, who again, if he came up against a statue, would probably still lose the ball.
He'd just run into him. He'd run into the statue.
He just runs and seems to. I don't know if he just thinks this is a game of FIFA or something. He's just going to be able to drift through them. So yeah, it's poor. I don't want to be too harsh on some of the younger players, and there's been a few slight positive points. I mean, I still think McCowan looks as though if he had better players around him, he'd be spreading the play and dictating a little bit more. But yeah, it's not a nice watch. Palmer's goal, great, but I don't know what he looks. It actually looks as though he's, with the greatest respect to him, it looks as though he's carrying a little bit of weight as well. He's just not mobile at all. In the game, I mean, he found himself in a good position, good finish, but he's not mobile. He's not moving about, or there's no urgency or trying to drive the play. So yeah, he's not rising to the challenge that I set him at the outset of the programme, which was to go and show what you can do and lead by example. So yeah, not great so far.
Right, this is a big thing. I'm going to bring Mantis Toboggan in first, right, because this kind of sets the tone. To be fair, this Celtic 11 have never played together before. The point of this exercise is to gain some match fitness. There's nothing else at stake here. Calm down. Yeah, so there's a lot of comments coming in which I don't necessarily disagree with, but I don't want to go too hard on any of the players, particularly the youngsters. And that is basically, I think, the point that Mantis Toboggan is making here. It's all about getting the fitness in the legs. Now, this is the point, and I've been making this a few times over the last few weeks here. The young guys look off the pace because they are playing at a much lower level in Scottish football.
Good evidence of that, yeah.
I think it's Jungle Lion points out here, Sligo Rovers actually beat a Scottish Premiership team in Europe a couple of seasons ago, Motherwell, right?
That's it. Look a pretty slick outfit. Look okay,
But we're not able, unfortunately, Chris, to take a youngster who probably, at some point is going to reach a ceiling and then start to stagnate in the fifth tier of Scottish football. Who'd have thought that, right? Yeah, and then absolutely. Even this is a step up for those guys. So they get a pass for me. They absolutely get a pass.
They're fighting an uphill battle, yeah, in terms of the competitive level that they're being asked to go and get experience at. I mean, I know it's been a hot topic on the show. I thought you made a brilliant point.
Thank you. Just leave it at that, mate.
Just one. You made one of many. But you made a really good point, and you were talking about. I think it was a week or so ago, and it was about Inverness, Kelly Thistle, and the fact they're in financial straits, which we're obviously sorry to see that happen to any Scottish club. But I thought your suggestion about can't we purchase that club as a separate entity but an affiliated club and use that to farm out our most promising youngsters, which would benefit both their club and ours because they'd be playing in a much more competitive level by Scottish terms. The B team structure does not work. It does not work. It is a poor pale imitation of what reserve football should be and needs to be. And we are seeing evidence of it tonight. Yes, it's a one-off game, it's a bounce game, there's nothing at stake other than fitness has been pointed out. But for the most well-equipped, best resourced team in Scotland, and a team that has got so much domination and so many advantages, for these to be our top youngsters, I'm quite disappointed. Now, I'm not having a go at them. I think there are mitigating factors, as you've said. I'm more disappointed in the players in and around the senior team, but we need to give these young guys a much better platform to go and develop and show their skills and play week on week at a more competitive level, because what they're getting at the moment ain't cutting it.
Well, this is the thing, and that is the mitigating circumstance that Celtic, as a football club, have been battling against over the last few seasons, where we tried to implement a system that, believe it or not, was first touted by Jockstein in 1968, whereby he wanted a second team in the pyramid of Scottish football, and he applied to have the Quality Street Gang play in the Scottish football pyramid. And at that time, there was only 2 leagues. So they would have been a second division team. Since then, you look at the successes, some of the Spanish clubs who have second strings in the pyramid system. So that was the introduction of the B team, but it's not progressed. So they're still languishing in the 5th tier of Scottish football because there's no promotion. Therefore, there's no hybrid team. We're playing young guys. There was an agreement where we could play one overage player. That one overage player twice last season was James McCarthy. It's been an absolute, for me, a bit of a disaster. And when you ask those youngsters to then play against the League of Ireland side, they're out of their depth. And this is the frustration for me, because they are picked up as the best in their class at that particular age that we sign them. They're then developed. But again, I guess that's a conversation for another day, because, Joe Brown also points out this is a public relations exercise, can't read too much into it. But here's the thing, Joe, if you can't impress your manager in a friendly game, when can you impress him? Because if you impress him every day at training, you're still not going to get the jersey of the individual who's playing first team football in your position. So you've got to take every opportunity, and tonight is an opportunity to impress. I'm not going to say that if you don't play well tonight, you'll never wear a Celtic jersey again. But what has Scott Bain done, or Yang, or Palmer, Novroski, Welsh, what have these guys done to say to Brendan Rodgers, I should be, the player that's got that jersey? And I'll answer the question: nothing. None of the 5 guys I've mentioned have done anything tonight that will stick in Brendan Rodgers' mind as a positive. The only player for me, in fact, I'm going to say 2. The only 2 players who have showed up well tonight for me are Valle and McCowan, who keeps getting called McGowan.
I know they've got those 2. I would agree. I think Valle, for me, he's actually. I was thinking as I was watching it, I thought, if Palma, without trying to anticipate anything, if Palma really isn't going to make the grade on left wing, Valle for me, because he can find himself in and around that box. He finds himself in dangerous positions. He's got pace, he's got strength, and he seems to have good awareness of what's going on around him so far. So, and for me, I mean, if you're comparing the 2, Vaille's ahead for me at the moment, and that's a shame, because I thought this was a good opportunity for Palma. McCowan, I think, I don't think he's benefited from the way the game's flowed and the game's played. And I think players are not, they're not playing the runs, but I saw a couple of moments when McCowan picked up the ball and he didn't try and do anything fancy, he just played a sensible, smart, forward-thinking pass. And then they lose the ball and the counter's on. I think McCowan is okay tonight. I don't think he's not doing anything outstanding, but he looks assured, and he's not a player that I would necessarily have any issues about being on a bench or potentially coming on, as we've seen throughout the season so far. But there are players there who have got a lot more than McCowan or Valle to prove, and they are not doing it. Yang, as I say, looks as though, I'd be quite happy, trying to take the ball off Yang. I think all he does is just run the ball at me and I just take it off him. I've seen it on about 4 occasions tonight. And he's a player who should be exciting, should be driving forward, should be trying to do some of the exciting stuff that gets the fans on their feet. But to be honest, every time he gets the ball, I'm just expecting him, okay, we'll run into a player, he'll fall over and he'll lose. Palma runs into the box, one of the few times he's managed to run into the box, and he takes a dive in a friendly. What are you doing? Why are you taking a dive in a friendly match where, there's so much scrutiny, and he must be aware there's so much scrutiny on you. Show a bit of panache, show a bit of flair, which we know he's got in his tank, and have a shot. But diving in a friendly?
It was poor. It was poor. And see the thing, Chris, right? And it's not based on tonight. We obviously speak about every single game that Celtic plays, and we've covered every single game that Palma has been involved in as a Celtic player. I've before tonight already came to the conclusion it's not going to work out for him at Celtic. He needs to be showing far more urgency, getting the ball, actually being a role model, if you like, an example to the younger guys at 18, 19 and 20 who are coming into the side tonight. This is how you approach it. This is the attitude that you need to show. Even though it's a bounce game and it's a PR exercise and it's all about fitness, I'm still going to, make a positive impression. I get that he scores a goal, but he's been poor. And that would really summed it up for me, where he's taken on a couple of guys and then he's gone down like a ton of bricks, like he'd been poleaxed. But I ask you the question, Chris, which player or players have changed your mind tonight about them positively? Positively.
Oh, I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't. I would struggle. I would struggle to answer that. I, as I said at the start of the program pre-match, I wanted to see the guys rise to the bit of the challenge. So take the opportunity, and that was a Palma, that was a Yangs, that was Scott Bain. You would kind of expect as a goalkeeper. I thought he'd have a relatively easy, straightforward job. Just keep it simple tonight. But my God, he's dropped. A metaphor clanger as well as the actual clangers he's dropped tonight. Welsh and Navrojski, I don't see a lot of leadership. I don't see a lot of, they should be kind of trying to build from the back and show that they can contribute to the play and try and replicate the style that obviously the manager's looking for the first team class. So not there. Agbayer, I was keen to see. I think, again, like a lot of the younger players, just looks like this may, even at this stage, be a little bit above them. They're not quite there. So, no, I wouldn't say anyone's changed any perceptions for me tonight.
Yeah, Ryan, great to see Ryan Pearce tuning in. There he is.
Good man.
Actually, our man in the States. Today is just more evidence that we need consistent reserve team football for these players to stay sharp and improve how they adapt to playing alongside different teammates. Now, this is the thing, and again, it's a deeper and it's a wider issue within the discussion that we have on Acsom. Tonight's an example of it. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Jungle Lion, shocking again from Bain. I worked it out, sadly, at the end of last season. He had been an unused substitute for Celtic on 262 occasions, right? So he gets a game tonight. He has been a member of the Celtic squad now for, let me just count, 7 seasons, coming in as a loanee from Dundee. And he has played 78 games of football. So it runs like this, right? So in his first season, he played 7 games. He was then more or less a first choice in 2018-19, playing 31 games. And then he plays 9, 23, 4, 1, 3. So yes, this is a goalkeeper who has played 8 games of football in the last 3 seasons. Actually, last he had 7. This is his 8th season as a Celtic player. If he runs out his contract, he will get a testimonial. No, he won't. But he will be due
so
for.
I'm sorry. There'd be a riot if he got a testimonial. I mean,
we'd cover
where's
it.
the ambition?
We'd cover the game, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to apply for that job at the club once he leaves. I'm going to say, can I just sit on a bench and just turn up, drop a couple of clangers and get my wages, please, for 8 years? That would be ideal. I mean, I have to, when you break it down like that, the way you've just done, I have to question the ambition of a player, a professional player at his age. Is that it? Is he just pretty much saying, my career's done, this is it, this is the greatest thing I'll ever achieve? Where's the sense of ambition when you are clearly third choice and you are not motioning for a move, you're not really doing anything to try and work your way into the team, you're obviously giving up on any international aspirations? I mean, I've got to then be a bit like, well, who are you? Is this another Dirk Bo Richter, Raphael, what type player? Just like, what is going on? That's it.
The thing is, you're right. There is a situation where he has decided, I'm happy to be picking up a wage. I'm going to be the third choice goalie here. Obviously, we've got Sinisalo, who is on international duty. That's why Bain's playing. The reason I brought that up wasn't to have a go at him as such. It was to say, this is a goalie who's really, really rusty. He's not playing a lot of football. And if we did have the reserve, like Ryan Pearce said, if we had a second string playing at a decent level in Scottish football, very much like Club Brugge have got their second string, and I keep using that as an example, playing in the second tier of Belgian football, he'd at least be sharp. He'd be playing games of football.
That's it. And I mean, I would, as a player, I'd be doing everything I can. I mean, trying to get, can I get a loan? Can I get a 6-month loan away or something? Just to give me the opportunity to show you that I've still got something of value to add to this club. But and maybe he has done that, and he's just been told no. I mean, we saw it with Lagerbielke, right? He was kept on and then just benched to oblivion when we need the opportunity to move. So I just struggle. I struggle when you see a Celtic goalkeeper who has had first team experience and isn't a 19 or a 20-year-old coming through. He's a guy that has tenure at this club, knows what the standards are, knows what they should be. He's got great examples to follow and that he's worked with in the past, and yet he can't make a couple of saves like that. I mean, there's rustiness, and then I've got to question actually how much quality have you lost? And that's taking into account how much I must have been to start with. So, no, it's nothing personal against the player. I just expect better in my club, And I would, rather than have Bain in tonight, I would rather have a youngster who is hungry, who does want to go and impress, because Bain for me is not going anywhere near a first team jersey.
You're not learning anything tonight from Scott Bain you didn't already know. Listen, we'll go back to the second half. I know we're all dying to go and see the action. We are getting beat. Will we pull it back? Let's hope we do. Regardless of what happens, Chris and I will be here at full time. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. Give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you at full time on A Celtic State of Mind.